morning, friends. Welcome to Gardening with Creekside and this week's nursery tour. We have got some beautiful things to share with you, things that we have planted and taken care of but have not shared with you yet. So remember, we are Creekside Nursery in Dallas, North Carolina, Zone 7B. We are just west of Charlotte. We are a grower retailer. So what that means is that we grow the plants and then we sell them directly to you, our customer. We are open Wednesday through Saturday, 9 to 3. We would love to see you. So yeah, come visit us. Now, here we're standing beside the infamous water trough. This is, I think, like maybe the fifth year that we have planted this water trough. It is just a livestock water trough, right? We do not have holes in the bottom because it has a drain hole in the back about 1 inch above. We have that open so that the water doesn't completely collect in it. Filled completely with great potting soil. We did that the very first time we planted this, and then every year we just kind of have to refresh it. We don't empty it completely, we just refresh. I have the most fun planting this every single year. So this is going to be, or is, our 2023 summer planting. I was really inspired to plant this with using these plants and these colors from my friend Tracy of Plaids and Poppies. She is an amazing gardener in Michigan, has a great Instagram channel, so you can check out that. But she does really bold colors. She has the most glorious garden. We actually toured her garden. I'll link that for you. But last year when we were there, she had 2 massive containers like going up her sidewalk. Not the same plants, some of them are repeated, but it's basically like the colors, right? So what we have in here, I've got 2 of the Sun-Credible sunflowers, 1 on each corner. Honestly, they're struggling a little bit. Normally these things like take off, and so I imagine them getting huge. Don't know if we just need to hit them with some more fertilizer, but anyway, we got the Sun-Credible sunflowers in here. We have the Rockin' Fuchsia Salvia. This is a beautiful hot pink bloom on it, nice fuchsia color that the hummingbirds absolutely love. So I have 1 of those on each side. Basically the whole planter is planted very balanced, right? So I did the same plants on each side. Vermillionaire. Vermillionaire is my #1 hummingbird attractor plant. It is a Kufia. Vermillionaire is nice and orange and beautiful, has different structure, right? It's more open and airy, so it just gives a nice, fun whimsy to the garden. Hummingbirds, pollinators, absolutely love this plant. Then basically here in the front, all of these annuals are new introductions for next year. We've got some, let's see, I've got my tags over here. We've got the Super Bells Blue, which is a nice, really rich purple. Then we have got, and there's a couple of plants in there on each of those. Then the Coleus, that's gonna be the new drop series. That is the cherry drop, right? Yeah, Color Blaze cherry drop, which is going to be more of a trailing. It goes up and then it will trail over. And then we've got a gorgeous mini vista, and then the white scavola. I love scavola. It does great in the hot sun. It fills in right there. It trails over, and then it is a beautiful contrast to our upside climbing sweet potato vine. This is the new this year. We trialed it last year. So much fun. Did not know that there wasn't a climbing sweet potato vine, but this is great. So this is the black one, and look how much it has covered this obelisk. I mean, this is 1 plant in here and boom. So it is going to just take off. So big, bold colors. Right now it is full sun. So this gets full direct sun until about 1-ish in the afternoon, and then it is in shade. So it is doing great and is rocking out. We're gonna turn around real quick and come here to the barn because we have a couple of new additions and things for you. When you come to Creekside, we've got some information here. We have got the brochure for our signature garden. So this is going to be coming to Creekside. We're gonna start construction here pretty soon. So when you come to the gardens and you come to the nursery, if you go over to the trial gardens, no, they're not in like primo condition right now because we're getting ready to destroy all of that. And so the signature gardens will be coming, so feel free to take a brochure here. It tells you some of the plants that are going to be featured in the gardens, and so Jerry and I are just having a great time designing and planning this space. So that is headed to Creekside soon. We also have, you know that we are big users of Power Planner, right? So Power Planner is an American company, and they make these amazing high quality augers. We work very closely with Greg and his team at Power Planner, and so we have these here available at the nursery. So if you're coming to Creekside and you have been interested in looking at these augers, we have got them available. So we have got them all the way from, this is the 3-inch, and so it's purple. It's really fun. So the 3-inch is perfect for when you're doing your annuals, right? So whether you're putting grande size containers in the ground, we've got one that's even a pink one up here. These are also what I use in the fall when we are putting in our bulbs. These are wonderful for bulbs. They are also great for when you're doing your pansies and your violas, so those smaller things, right? Then we have got the 5-inch, the 7-inch, and the 9-inch all down here. These are the ones, and these are the ones with the heavy duty tip, right? So this is what we use because of our thick clay soil. You've got to have that heavy duty tip on that because it will really get into that clay soil and break it up. So if you're coming to the nursery, here you go, we have them available. If you're not coming to the nursery, or maybe you are coming to the nursery but you're flying and you can't bring, it's kind of hard to bring an auger home, you can go to powerplanter.com. We always have it listed in our video description. Go to their website, click on that link on our description. I'll even pin it up in the comments for you. So click on that, scroll down, and you will see where it says Jenny's Picks. Click on that, and we will have everything listed there that we personally use here at Creekside. So I can give you firsthand account and say, this drill does great here. This is what I use a 3-inch for, or a 7-inch, or a 9-inch, right? So you can get it exactly right there. Greg will send it to you with free shipping. They are wonderful for support. So if you have a question, you can't figure out something's not working right, or you're just having difficulty, they have amazing customer support, and a lot of times you'll even get to talk to Greg, the owner. So you can just say, Jenny sent me to you, and he will happily take great care of you. So powerplanter.com, scroll, Jenny's Picks. There you go. Now, if you have been with Creekside for a while, you may recognize these. These are wind chimes from recycled glass bottles. They are handmade from a wonderful family company in Georgia. They are called bottle benders because they take bottles and they bend them, mold them, melt them into these beautiful wind chimes. We have a Creekside twist on this. You can only get these wind chimes from Creekside Nursery because of the wood that the wind chimes hang on. So these are what we call pine knots. And pine knots are kind of, for a lack of a better word, like old petrified pine. It has a really high resin sap count in it. So it really is they can stay outside. They are not going to rot. These come from my family land, my mama's family land in South Carolina. My mama and daddy have a cabin down there, and so they'll walk through the forest and they pick up these pine knots. We collect them, send them to bottle benders, they clean them up, and then they hang the wind chimes on them. So this is a 4-strand, which is, it's a pretty heavy wind chime, but it is beautiful, makes a nice tinkling noise. You can leave them outside year round. They just say if you hear them clanging loudly, just lay them down. You can just lay them right there on the ground, lay them on your porch or the grass, whatever, but you can leave them out all winter. You don't have to worry about the cold. You can hang them directly out in the, exposed in the weather, or you can put them on a covered porch, however you want to do it. So there's a 4-strand, and then there are 3 strands, and then the glass comes in different colors. So we have the bottle benders wind chimes Creekside edition here. These make great gifts, and or if you're traveling. So you can wrap these up in your suitcase, put them on the plane and you will be good to go. So take a little bit of Creekside home with you. All right, Jerry was pointing down here for a reason. I'm thinking hydrangeas.
Yep.
Yes. So hydrangeas. All right, hydrangea season is about to come upon us massively. So Incrediballs. Incrediballs are the improved Annabelle version. Nice, huge white balls on them as far as your blooms. These are color specific, so you don't have to worry about your soil pH changing the color. You can do full sun, so mine gets sun up to sundown. At a minimum, you need at least 6 hours. So if you want to do 6 hours in the morning or 6 hours in the afternoon, that is fine. They bloom on new growth, so you can prune them and you can shape them. They are fantastic. Now, this is pufferfish, right? Yes? Yes. So pufferfish is the new panicle that is on the market this year from Proven Winners. You can see that they are starting to flush out and show some color. Pufferfish is really fun because it gets massive, huge heads. And look how upright it is, right? There is no floppiness to these stems. They're gonna have massive bloom heads on them, but they're gonna be very, very upright. Pufferfish is going to be hardy in zones 3 to 8, and it is going to be 3 to 5 feet tall. Now, if you have watched some of our garden tours lately, like when we went to Archie and Tina's house, they have bobos and they have little limes, and they have exceeded all of the growth requirements that Proven Winners list. So you've got to remember where you kind of live in the country and what your climate is. If you're in the South, your hydrangeas are going to be on the very upper end of those sizes, so 3 to 5 feet. Now you can keep this at 3 feet, you can keep this at 4 feet. That just means you're going to have to prune it a little heavier, but you can absolutely keep that. Or if you want it to be bigger, you can just lightly prune it and it will get that 5 feet, I dare say even close to 6 feet on some of these things. So just remember, if you're in a hotter zone that has a longer growing period, you're more than likely going to be on the upper end of the height. And if you're in a cooler, shorter window of your growing season, you're probably going to be on the smaller side. So pufferfish, amazing. Full sun, beautiful, massive blooms, and then they do a little tuft on the end. Super fun. Firelights. Firelights are one of my favorite panicles because they are one of the few panicles that for us in our hot, humid South that will turn a nice, lovely, rosy pink color. They start out white. They are panicles, so they bloom on new growth, and then they will turn a lovely shade of kind of that rosy pink, that mauve color. Just wonderful. The hydrangeas that we do have down here are going to be your sun hydrangeas, right? Because this lot is a sun lot. It's early in the morning, so we're in the shade right now. Our shade hydrangeas are in the pines, because if we leave them out here, of course, obviously they burn. So we got to take care of them. This is Little Lime Punch. Yes, I can tell just by looking at it. Little Lime Punch is one of the, I think, the newest one into the Little Lime family or the Limelight family. Nice, tight habit on it. Gorgeous blooms. They start out a little greenish and then they will turn to a beautiful, glowing, almost like, in my opinion, like a fluorescent cream. They are stunning. Very, very upright. There is no floppage, as I say, on the blooms. So really nice and tight. So depending on your space, there is a hydrangea for it. So like Little Lime Punch is going to be about the same size as your pufferfish. I actually have 2 Little Lime Punches and a pufferfish in the middle near the fountain. So hydrangeas galore. So this is a great time to go ahead and get your hydrangeas, get them in the ground, because we've been blessed with a cool season, a wet season, and so they will get nice and established before the real heat of the summer hits, because we know it's coming for sure. All right, Summerific Hibiscus. Summerific Hibiscus are a perennial hibiscus. They are cold hardy to like zone 4. Zones 4 to 9, and they will do the massive dinner plate size blooms on them. They come in a range of colors and sizes. Some will have beautiful, nice, dark foliage. This particular one is Berry Awesome, so it will have a beautiful, rich pink flower on it. Some of them are more upright. Some of them are more what we call like conical, right? So they're like a gumdrop. So they're fatter at the bottom and then they get more narrow at the top. They do love the full sun. If you have a wet area, then this is going to be a great plant. Now, right here, this is the new one on the market for this year. This is Lilac Crush, and Lilac Crush is going to be one of those that's going to be more upright. So you can tell by the habit that it is nice and upright. I would say narrow, but they get wide. But it has the most lovely lilac lavender flowers on it. I have 3 of these at the house and they are about to explode in blooms. These have buds on them as well. I have found with the summerifics, the more moisture you can give them, the longer they bloom. So if they have a consistent moisture, consistent water, whether that is from drip irrigation like at the house, or like the ones that we have here in front of the nursery that is not on drip, but it gets the runoff from the nursery, they will bloom all the way through the fall. I mean, they just keep pumping out these beautiful flowers. They are sterile, so that is why they just keep producing these gorgeous flowers. So I really encourage you, if you've got a sunny area, it's gonna be sun to part sun. Again, you need a minimum of that 6 hours of sun. You can do all day sun. These are just beautiful. This is Holy Grail. Holy Grail is one of the absolute most popular ones because it has that beautiful black foliage and it has gorgeous red blooms. Red blooms with kind of what we call the calyx, is what holds the flower, is yellow. So even when the flower falls off, you still have beautiful interest. We have Holy Grail at our church that I planted, not on irrigation, but man, they are rocking. It is a very hot spot because it's right beside the asphalt, the sidewalk, and then there's a massive brick wall behind them. So they get tons of radiant heat, not on irrigation, and they absolutely rock it out all season long. So Holy Grail is an amazing one. Brandywine. Y'all, we grew Brandywine Viburnum years ago. And this is when the nursery part here we didn't have a whole lot of traffic, right? We didn't have a whole lot of customers. We were trying to build it up, have people come here. And we did Brandywine and it really just didn't sell. So as I do, I confiscated the plants and put them in my garden. Y'all, this is one of my most favorite plants. It is deciduous, okay? So in the wintertime, you're gonna lose your leaves. But in the summertime, spring, summer, and fall, you have got gorgeous foliage. And what's so much fun about Brandywine is that it produces, first it'll flower, and then it produces berries. So we have over here, there's a bud set right over here, Jerry. And so you can see, so this little cluster right here, in the spring, they were white flowers, okay? Beautiful little sweet white flowers. As you can see, they're starting to form their berries. Those berries will turn pink and blue. So you can see here on the tag, the colors of those berries. Such a striking presence in the garden. It is absolutely stunning. So here we go for your information. It is sun to part shade. So that means a minimum of 5 hours of sun, hardy in zones 5 to 9. It'll be kind of big, 5 to 6 feet tall and wide. And then in the fall, it is gorgeous burgundy foliage. And then your berries are blue. So the birds love them. Probably wouldn't advise you to eat them, but the wildlife certainly likes them. But it likes moist, well-drained soil. It has medium deer resistance. I love them. This is one of those things that you can plant towards the back of your garden. You plant it and forget it, and then when it is out and showing, it's stunning and makes a beautiful backdrop from other, whether it's shrubs or perennials or whatever it is that you have growing in your garden. Weigelias, I just love them. This is Vino Verde, right? Vino Verde has a gorgeous bicolor on the leaf. It will flower, but it is mostly for your foliage. Gorgeous plant. It is deciduous, but y'all, it is so worth it to have this in your garden. This is going to be hardy in zones 5 to 8, 3 to 5 tall and wide. It does bloom on old growth, so if you need to prune it, now would be the time, right? So after it flowers, that's when you want to prune it, so that way you can have time for it to reflush out, set their buds, and then next season, next spring, it will flush out in gorgeous color. Sweet talkers, people have asked about sweet talker. This is another viburnum. However, where Brandywine was deciduous, sweet talker is an evergreen. This is going to be for our southern climate, right? So this is going to be hardy in zones 7 and 8. It is sun to part shade. I have 2 of these in the berm because they will have really nice upright tall structure to them. They are going to be, if I can hold on to the tag, they're going to be 8 to 10 feet tall. So 8 to 10 feet tall, nice, really, like I said, upright structure to them because they're only 3 to 5 feet wide. So that very columnar habit to them, and they're going to be one of the first plants to bloom in the spring. Gorgeous fall color, nice kind of a burgundy color, pink flowers. That's why it's called sweet talker, because it smells good. So there you go. And then of course we can't move on past these without talking about pearl glam. Pearl glam is a beauty berry. You can see that it has already starting to set some of its little flowers. So those are little white flowers that will open up. They'll be very small, right? And the pollinators love them. I mean, they go nuts over this. Those flowers, just like your viburnums, turn into the most glorious purple berries. They absolutely glow in the fall. They are stunning. So if you need fall interest and some height in your garden, this is a great one. It has a really nice like green foliage, but it has like these purple undertones to it. So it's a very different, like if you were to put, say, like a sunshine ligustrum with it, right? So you've got beautiful color contrast. So you can plant these near each other. Pearl glam is hardy in zones 5 to 8, 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, and it does bloom on new growth. So you can prune it. Prune it in the late winter when you're pruning your panicle hydrangeas, and they will do fantastic. Yeah, so pearl glam, classic staple. You need this for definitely your fall interest and to support the pollinators in your garden. All right, we ready to go up to the greenhouse? There's something else? Yep. Another shrub I want to share with you before we hit the greenhouse, right, is this. This is vanilla spice. And vanilla spice is just an absolutely fantastic shrub. This is what they call a summer sweet. And you can see that it's got this beautiful green foliage and it is absolutely covered in flower buds. Vanilla spice does these gorgeous upright flower blooms that are beautiful pure white. It smells divine. It is the most lovely fragrance to it. Pollinators will be covering this plant when it is in bloom. It is hardy in zones 4 to 9. It does sun to part shade. It is a native plant. It will be 3 to 6 feet tall, 3 to 5 feet wide, and it is just absolutely an amazing plant. Not only do you get gorgeous fragrant flowers in the summertime, but in the fall, dear heavens to Betsy, this is the one that turns really vibrant yellow, and it is gorgeous. Think of like this in that yellow of the sunshine ligustrum. Like I am talking about these big huge leaves that are that color in the fall. It makes such a striking color comparison. Like if you were to put this and pearl glam together, oh, gorgeous. So this is a great plant. It does bloom on new growth. So again, you can keep it pruned back and you can keep it to whatever size that you want. This is one you really, really need in your garden. Like really need in your garden. All right, now this is the time of year. June in North Carolina is a great time to be a gardener because our true heat has not hit yet, right? The humidity is not bad. Like we've been blessed with glorious days. Plants are still looking pretty good. Everybody's hanging in, doing great. Sharing with you like the easy scapes right here. So when we were talking about the hibiscus and they like moisture, whether you have it on irrigation or just a wet spot, there you go. This is evening, we always do this, evening rose. Evening Rose, they were planted last year. Gorgeous, beautiful pink. So they've got that. We've got the grasses. Perennial grasses are amazing to put in your garden. The serendipity alliums are about to just pop in color. So with the Easy Escapes, it's like a plant by number, right? So the dianthus was first, and it's beautiful spring blooms, and then everything else kind of comes in together. So these are all perennials. You can plant them once, just maintain them, and it's wonderful. Nephofia is about to, well, it's not about to, it is in season now. Nephofia, when I was growing up, was called Red Hot Pokers. And so Proven Winners, Walter's Gardens, have this whole series of Nephofias, Red Hot Pokers, that are called the Pyromania series. And so they have these really nice, hot, bold colors. They tend to have an ombre effect. So like, for example, this one, right? So this is kind of like the perfect bloom. So it starts out a darker color, and as it ages, it goes lighter. This is a wonderful pollinator attractor. They tend to be more deer resistant. If you will have, for us in the winter, we keep the foliage, so it gives it like a grass-like appearance, but they come in yellow, they come in reds, they come in oranges, all sorts of really fun, bold colors. Super low maintenance, wonderful to add to your garden. The folks, our sweet people here at the nursery, Cece and Emily and Alyssa, have been working hard on always doing different displays for our customers, because typically a lot of them will come, like you come up this way. So here we have a great pairing of perennials that you could absolutely plant together, right? So of course we have the Midnight Masquerade Penstemon. You can see we've got a nice big old fat bumblebee trying to squeeze into that bloom right there. Great pollinator attractor. It brings the height to the garden. This is the time of year that it is blooming. Nice, really rich burgundy foliage on it. It is hardy in zones 3 to 8. Just a great one. Then we're coming down to the amazing daisies, Shasta daisies. So there's a whole bunch of different ones in the series. This is Marshmallow. Look at Marshmallow. You see how it got its name? Fat, fluffy flowers on it. The amazing daisies, if you can deadhead them, that they do help. So like for the example, this is an old bloom right here. You can tell because it's starting to turn a little bit of a color. So just take your snips and come in and just cut that off. That will help clean up the plant. Then we got, look at this, Banana Cream 2, one of my favorite ones, yellows and whites together. And then sedums. Sedums, if you have dry, hot areas that are just kind of, you know, not fun to deal with, this is the combo that you're going to want to put together. This particular sedum is the Back in Black. Gorgeous sedum. Look how fat and big those leaves are. So the Rock and Glow Back in Black. These are going to be your later summer bloomers. It is going to be like near black leaves. Then later on in the season, you've got flowers with red centers and cream petals. Hardy in zones 3 to 9. With the flowers, they will be 20 to 24 inches tall and then about 2 feet apart. These are the ones that hate fertilizer. So don't even use biotone on this plant. I mean, what else can you ask from a plant? They don't like to be fed, and they don't really like to be watered, and they like crappy soil. There you go. So perennial sedums are definitely the way to go. If you're looking for some height, coffee cups, the elephant ears, then this one is the Royal Hawaiian. Big, huge black leaves on this. These are going to be tender perennials, so you're going to put them in the ground, get them established. Wintertime, you have a freeze. All of this will melt away. Clean it up, put some mulch over it, and boom, there you go. So here are the Nephofias that we were talking about. Those are here, the Serendipities, Cat's Pajamas, one of our biggest selling perennials. I mean, my gosh, we cannot keep that plant in stock. Let's come on over here. Phloxes. We're getting ready to go into, oh my gosh, look at this. Opalescence. So this is a phlox. This is Luminary Opalescence. The Luminary is the series, and the Opalescence has that absolutely beautiful soft pink flowers on it. They are going to be tall, so 30 to 32 inches tall. These are a type of Phlox paniculata. So just like we have panicle hydrangeas, we have panicle phloxes. They bloom later. And delicious fragrance to them. They are going to need full sun, hardy in zones 3 to 8, and they come in different colors. So there's opalescence, there's ultraviolet, which is a really hot pink, and then there is the pure white. So the white is just getting ready to open. This one is backlight. So if you have like a moon garden, this would be fantastic for it. So pure white, and then those are the opening acts. Opening act phlox is going to be an earlier bloom. So this is on the end of its bloom cycle. So if you do like the opening acts and then the luminary series within the same area, you're going to have a continuous display of colors for your phloxes. Pentas. Pentas are one of my favorite plants. I think they are highly underused in the garden. They're not a new plant. Pentas, like your grandmother probably planted pentas, but these are not going to be your grandmama's pentas because of the size of these blooms. So they're little individual star-shaped flowers that are in these big, huge clusters, right? And so what's great about pentas is they love the sun. They are a massive pollinator, butterfly attractor, gorgeous colors, and then just gorgeous plants. I mean, huge plants that are covered in buds. I have these by the back patio. I have them in our deck boxes. I love them. These are ones that you can really kind of plant and forget. Get them established, get them watered for the first couple of weeks, and then you can just let them go, and they will get huge. These are going to be annuals, but they are worth every penny for their glorious display. If you only have room for a pot, put one of these in the pot. It will fill in the whole thing. If you have more of a room in like a garden, plant a couple of them together and they are stunning.
They're right above them.
Do what?
Plant underneath them.
Yeah, you can plant then you can do the mini vista yellow underneath them because that pink and yellow just go great together. So we have at the house, I have these rose pentas and then I have mini vista white underneath mine. So, but either one of those, I mean, you could do indigo, you could do any of those colors that you wanted to. Now, right now the portulaca is closed because they open and close with the sun. They're still in the shade. I'm going to show you here, I'm going to throw a picture up and show you these massive, gorgeous blooms on this portulaca. This is the Cupcake series. And the Cupcake series is just known for their big, huge, bold colors, very vibrant, and they are massive blooms. This is going to be a low growing, you can put it in a container. They make great hanging baskets too. So if you have a hot, sunny area that you've struggled with hanging baskets, fill it with portulaca. They do great in containers because they'll spill over or the landscape. Love it, hot, dry, and neglected. The portulacas are amazing. Another one that loves it hot and dry, this is just now starting to come really into its own. This is Blew My Mind Volvulus. And the reason now it's just now really starting to kind of come into it is because it does love it hot. I mean, it wants to be very hot. It is low growing. This is actually a member of the morning glory family. If you say morning glories in the South, it's kind of like a dirty word because they are such a nuisance of a weed for us. This is not that invasive pesky. It's going to be low and it's going to spread out. Very, very drought tolerant. And again, hates fertilizer. So put it in the ground, leave it alone. For years, I would plant this at our mailbox where it's not on irrigation. I mean, it's anyway, very neglected area, but does great. So that's a fantastic one. And then all of these beautiful calibrachoas that are new ones for us that we were growing. This is part of the Bloomtastic series. Nice big flowers. They're kind of closed right now because they got, you know, the irrigation was on, so they got a little pushed down. I was up here yesterday afternoon with our friend Christine, and they were gorgeous, massive blooms. And I tend not to be a huge red fan. I mean, I love red. I don't use a lot of it in the garden, but this, oh my gosh, is gorgeous. Huge, beautiful, pure red blooms on it. Just amazing. Great in a hanging basket, window boxes, all those things. And then the verbenas, such fun, different colored verbenas, kind of like the pinwheel. Then you've got this really fun pink with a white center, whether you want the two different shades of it, and then a beautiful, nice, dark purple. So Lots of options for you. Minorities, like we could just go on and on and on for videos, but talking about plants, these are great perennials. I mean, we've got echinaceas back there, all the new echinaceas from Proven Winners. Oh, I do want to share with this one thing with you before I go. Let's see if Cece moved the Blue Fortune. You remember? Let's see. Let's come over here. We're going to go on a hunt. Here it is. But look at the Shasta daisies over there, y'all. When you put the Shasta daisies in a group, like look how that mass planting of them, just great. All right, the reason I want to show you this is an Agastache. This is Blue Fortune. So when we were at Tina and Archie's house doing their garden tour, Tina had bought a Blue Fortune from us last year. So this is an Agastache. It is what we call non-branded, right? So it's in a non-branded pot, so should be very widely available. This is a very common, popular plant. So Agastache is known for loving the sun, and it is a massive pollinator attractor. Tina's was a little bit more advanced than mine, but it does beautiful blue flowers, and it will get height to it. So this one will get to be like 2 to 3 feet tall. Tina's was every bit of 3 feet tall, if not more. It is hardy in zones 4 to 9, but if you have a pollinator garden that you want to add a great perennial to, this Blue Fortune Agastache is a great one to add. Again, we could go on. There's daylilies, there's nepitas, there's so many wonderful things that are blooming and available. So if you are close to Creekside, I want you to take a survey of your garden, find the empty spaces that you have in your garden, because I know you've got some. Find those empty spaces, make sure you know what your conditions are, right? Is it sun, is it shade, is it morning sun and afternoon shade, whatever, right? Look at that, find your empty spaces, and then come to the nursery and let us help you fill in with perennials, because this is a great time to add perennials to your garden, right? We did the spring rush of all the beautiful annuals. They're in, they're going strong. This is where perennials shine. This is where they come in. This is what makes your garden change throughout the season, because they will bloom for a time and then they change and somebody else comes up, right? Perennials. Don't go wrong with perennials. You can't. They are fantastic, and they just get bigger and better every single year. Love it. All right, so if you're not close to Creekside, go to your local garden center, wherever you are, right? Find your local garden center. If it's an hour away, find them and drive. Take a girls trip, get a gardening buddy, and go on a trip and go visit those local garden centers. I promise you will absolutely love it and be excited about it, and it will be fantastic. So, as always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. We so appreciate you. Thank you for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.